we have the next stage of the Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively legal process that is happening. So we know they're going to court in March of this year. So this has been over a year, the build up to this.
Yeah.
And so there's still, both of the legal teams are still in the process of a deposition. So people having to give like statements on the record, having documents unsealed. So each side can build their case before that first court hearing.
Yeah.
And so now we're at the stage where a lot of people who were involved in the making of It Ends With Us have been deposed, which means they've had to, give a statement under oath. So if they lie, they go to jail. And the supporting evidence, so things like emails, what they do is they take your laptop, they take your phone, they pull any emails or text messages that are about the event. And because this has all gone into the legal system, it's now public knowledge, which is why we have all of these normally text messages and emails and things that we would never see.
Yeah. Oh, my God. It's almost too much information.
It's so much information. I have just gone through it all. And I know there's some things that people are pulling out.
Yeah.
But there's so many different ways to go with this. So starting off with some of our big names.
Oh my God. So many A-list celebrities are in this. And I have to talk about certain quotes that happened between Ben Affleck and Blake Lively, as well as Matt Damon and Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, because it's really, really juicy. Yeah. But I also want to talk about the some of the depositions that have come out now, because the transcripts for those have been released. Jenny Slate, she in the movie, the thing is the movie's not that good for this to be such a big deal.
I know, but that was a thread through all of the messages that when Blake Lively is reaching out to all these people for help, she was. A common thread through all of her messages and emails is, I cannot tell you what a shit show this is. This was the most dramatic, worst movie making process I've ever been through. And she says repeatedly to different people that what she should be doing is making a documentary or a movie about the movie. Yeah. Which I do believe one day we'll get that. Someone will do a dramatic retelling.
Yes.
Because it was just such a shit
I think she
show.
will make it, because in one of the emails with Matt Damon, she's like, I've already got the title, Lights, Cult, Action. And I was like, you know what, girl? I would watch that.
Oh, I watched the shit out of that.
Oh, my God. Get
Someone
going.
Give her money for that.
So back to Jenny Slate. She played Justin Baldoni's character's sister, as well as Lily Bloom's best friend. That was Blake Lively's character. Yes. And some of the transcripts from her deposition have been released. Kind of stuff that we already knew or had already been rumored around. She said that both her and Blake complained directly to the studio about Baldoni. Mm-hmm. She stated in some text messages about filming the movie, she said, "It has been really gross and disturbing shoot. I'm one of many who feel this way. I honestly have never ever encountered anything like this dude. He's the biggest clown and the most intense narcissist. Lots of lessons learned." She also made it quite clear in a deposition that she wasn't afraid, it wasn't a predatory level, but she was just very annoyed and irritated by him. And she also said that Blake Lively will be getting it way worse than she was. And I thought that was so damning.
Exactly. Well, that's the thing as we go through this, a lot of these emails or statements actually, I mean, obviously it's all going to court, so we can't really pick a side yet, but a lot of it is being in place in these documents because it is corroborating what Blake and Jenny and that side, everything they have alleged against Justin is being corroborated through these emails and text messages. So not saying it's true, but just saying the conversations that they're having now match exactly the conversations they were having years ago now when this movie was filmed.
Yeah, and there was also the actress Isabella Ferrer, who played the younger version of Blake Lively's character in the film. Transcripts from her deposition has also been released publicly. She was asked, was there any inappropriate or unwelcome actions, conducts, or comments during the production of the film? And she listed 3 occasions. One of them, she said, there was a scene in which my character Lily is in a kitchen and the other character played by my co-star is making cookies, and there was a note that was a change to the scene in which he was feeding me cookie dough from a spoon. Justin offered that I lick the cookie dough off the spoon and look up at my co-star in a way that deemed to me kind of inappropriate given the context of the scene. It didn't make sense to me in the scene that we were filming that my character would do that kind of thing given she was 16 and in high school. Yeah. So a lot of notes from the deposition. But then we were also shown emails that happened while, and we already knew this, while Blake was rewriting the scenes because she didn't like the way the movie was being made. So she went out and rewrote some of the scenes and some of the edits. And then they kind of did a comparison on who had the best edits.
Yes.
And she was sending her edits to her famous friends to kind of get them to, I guess, endorse her version of the movie, which is what we kind of heard from Justin Baldoni's team, where he said he was ambushed by Taylor Swift and Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
And like was trying to be convinced to let Blake write the movie, essentially. So we do have emails that she sent to Ben Affleck.
The thing is, like, I'm sure if a lot of our messages and emails were read out, we also wouldn't come off great. But these are particularly, but you know what? She's not on trial for being cringe. So that doesn't, you can't sue someone for being cringe. That's not what she's saying. So it's just trying to prove a point.
Okay, because this email to Ben Affleck starts off with, "Hey Ben, it's Blake. Don't hang up."
This is an email, right? That must be, I can only assume that that's an in-joke between them.
What in-joke?
That he hangs up on her a lot.
So that he doesn't like her?
Well, no. I don't think she would be messaging someone who didn't like her.
Also, just one of those things where he's like a really bad reply, and so like in their text threads, it's just her talking to herself, essentially.
Yeah. No, I've never heard. So they made The Town together.
Yeah.
And had, you know, some raunchy scenes from my memory of that movie and worked very closely together and promoted that movie a lot together afterwards. And that was a big deal for Blake Lively because it was one of her first big dramatic roles when she was trying to be like, I'm not just Serena van der Woodsen. And I believe Ben Affleck was like a big champion of her, of like having her in that movie and like talking about her in interviews about how like what a great dramatic actress she was and everything. And I believe that they've had a really good relationship since then. Yeah. And that he also has a good relationship with Ryan Reynolds. So it makes sense that she would reach out to him. That just must be an in-joke.
Okay, let me continue.
Okay.
"I'm writing with a zero pressure ask. I've just come out of the other side, well, almost, of the most upsetting experience I've ever had on a movie. The making of doc of this film would be more interesting than the movie could ever be." Imagine Colin Hoover reading this.
Colin Hoover is like, let me out of this. But also, she's not wrong. And this, like the story is like it or hate it, the story is fine. But the making of this, this is an Oscar-worthy movie waiting to be made.
100%. "It's like if Wild Wild Country, Fire Festival, and Going Clear had a baby with The Room." Room also works though.
So Room... famously like the craziest worst movie making experience ever. Like there's TV shows and documentaries about the making of that movie because it is held in Hollywood as the biggest, like, this is the worst movie making experience has ever happened.
Have you ever watched it?
Yeah. It's crazy.
I can't bring myself to watch it.
No, you need to go. So they still show it in cinemas because it's become a cult thing now.
So funny.
You need to go to one of those cinema things because people have times, like there's times where you yell out like different things and like people throw spoons at the screen and like one.
Stop.
Because it's become like, everyone's like, this is the worst movie ever made.
It's an experience.
It's an experience to watch with other people.
That's so funny.
So the fact that she's pulling that in there, like she's pulling out the big guns.
Anyway, I ended up rewriting and restructuring the entire script. I also ended up having to direct the movie via the chaotic clown director in quote marks / actor / producer / financer / studio head at the center. Yes, that's all the same person. Oh, and did I mention he and everyone he had on the movie is in a cult?
Jesus Christ. The cult accusations have been lost over time, given everything.
We need to get into that one day. If I would have just formally directed it, it would have been much easier, but having to... It sounds like she's just like venting at this point.
Well, I mean, also fair.
If I would have just formally directed it, it would have been much easier, but having to troubleshoot through his taste, ego, and pre-existing decisions made it so difficult, and that's not even touching on any of the wild HR issues and beyond. Anyway, I'm in a bake-off with him in the edit. He's been editing since, I kid you not, July, and they gave me 10 days to do my own pass. We have a bake-off in 12 days, but I have a friends and family preview in New York on Saturday in the meantime, so I can get one round of notes or feedback before we duke it out.
I mean, the thing is, what she's saying there was Justin Baldoni's complaint against her. So his initial legal complaint against her has been dismissed. This legal case they're doing now is over like the sexual harassment and harassment claims on court. But Justin Baldoni's, one of his big complaints about Blake Lively is that she came in and took over directing the movie.
Yeah.
Which by her own admission here is true. But that's also not what this particular legal case is hinging on.
Yeah.
But she's admitting it. But also she's giving information about why she had to do that. So
yeah, it's okay. But
okay, sorry.
And I don't think Ben replied. I didn't see a reply from Ben. He's busy.
Unless he called her.
There also was where she asked, I would love it if your wife could watch it. I'm a huge fan of hers.
Yes.
And that was a time when he was married to Jennifer
Lopez, yeah. And she puts in brackets like, just so you know, it's domestic violence, so it's not triggering. Yeah. And she's like, she and I have had a good relationship every time we've met. I love her thoughts on it as well. Yeah. So now Jennifer Lopez is involved. Jennifer Lopez gets deposed and she's like, I'm not talking
I'm not even with this man anymore. Yeah.
I've been through enough.
Okay, but the Matt Damon emails are arguably my favorite. So she pretty much just kind of did a bit of a copy and paste to Matt Damon. Yeah. It's like it's a completely different email, but the gist of what she's saying is the same.
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds was the first one to email Matt. I'm assuming they're on like a chain with Matt Damon, his wife Lucy, Ryan Reynolds, and Blake Lively. Mm-hmm. So Ryan Reynolds tells Matt everything. Blake also jumps in and does a whole like zero pressure, but we'd really appreciate it. Matt replies, "We'll give you any help we can. And if this experience hasn't totally destroyed your soul, Blake, you should come direct your next movie at Artist Equity. We're a kind of a cult, but a really nice one."
Oh, that's his production company. Yeah.
And then Ryan says, and oh my God, if I was Justin Baldoni in this, I'd cry. Ryan says, "Several weeks before shooting and right after Blake had given birth to our son, this guy called our trainer, Don, and asked, 'How much do you think Blake will weigh in 2 weeks?' Don got very Long Island all of a sudden and Justin backtracked. He said, 'I'm only asking because I have to carry her in a scene and I have low bone density.'" And then Matt Damon's wife...
low bone density, nothing to laugh at?
Nothing to laugh at, but Matt Damon's wife, Lucy Damon, says, "Sorry, but what the actual fuck?"
I don't know much about that woman, about Matt Damon's wife, but everything I know about her I like so much. Like every time I've heard her speak, she's just like a New Yorker who was working in a bar when she met Matt Damon. Like she's zero bullshit.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What the actual fuck?
What the actual fuck? So I think it's pretty clear that, well, Ben Affleck, we didn't have a reply, but Matt Damon endorsed Blake's version of the film.
Yes.
Which, if you were Justin Baldoni, you'd be quite scared.
Well, yes. And the thing is, this has been his complaint. Remember how he had his own group text messages with his people, and one of them was Rainn Wilson from The Office. But and then the rest of them, some of them were a little bit known, but they weren't, there's not the star power.
Oh my God, I forgot Rainn Wilson.
Yeah. And so the thing is, of course they're both doing what anyone would do. Famous or not, like you have a shit time at work, you're in the group chat with your friends and you're venting to them. And in those text messages that have been released, where Justin Baldoni is venting to his friends, and like one of them kind of really leading the charge is Rainn Wilson being like, "Well, we're here for you. That sounds awful. Let us know any update." And in those text messages, Justin Baldoni gives his versions of events, which is like Blake taking over, Ryan speaking to him in a terrible way and him not knowing what to say, being like ambushed at the apartment by Taylor Swift. So they're both obviously doing it, which is fair enough, but it's like corroborating both of their stories that they've set forward in a way.
Which is like fair, exactly what you said. Like if your friend comes to you complaining about work, you're automatically on your friend's side, and like work's the enemy.
It just, the power imbalance is huge, is what Justin Baldoni has said, is that the power imbalance is huge, is that hers are like A-list people that have been brought in. But also her complaint, again, is not about the fact that they had an argue over the editing. You can't sue someone for that.
Yeah, it's sexual harassment.
You can't, it's the sexual harassment claims. And there are claims in those emails about inappropriate behavior. So that's why the thing is, the legal teams would have gone through like hundreds of emails and hundreds of text messages and things, but you could only bring the ones that to these court documents and use them in your case if they have some sort of bearing on the conversation. And the thing is, you have to give each person a list of like the keywords you want to search. So all Justin's team had to do was like give a key list of all these famous names.
Yeah.
And all these emails would have been brought into the fray because of the keyword search.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's interesting.
Delete your emails.
Yeah, jeez.
Going forward.
Better clear some stuff out. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
You got some damning stuff in that phone. It's from me just telling you all the famous people in Sydney I don't like. All right. Well, we're ready to move on to the Taylor Swift of all because this is the explosive part.
I'm sad.
Because Taylor Swift's team, for the last few years that this has been going on, has very much tried to keep her name out of this whole legal situation. The statement that came from her team was like, Taylor is not involved in this. And she alleged that Justin Baldoni and his team were just trying to use her name to create headlines and to get more people involved in it.
Situation.
Yeah, exactly. And so the statement was like, Taylor's not involved in this movie. At the time, she was on the biggest tour in the world. Fair enough. We can fact check that. She was there on the Eras tour.
Yeah,
saw
her there.
Yeah, saw her. Well, you didn't. Sorry. Not the time to bring it up.
I'm on Justin's side. No, I'm not.
Team Justin.
Team Justin. Believe men.
Okay.
Too far.
Someone's going to take that way out of context.
Don't.
But now Taylor Swift has been brought into it because a series of text messages discussing the movie have been brought into the court case.
Yeah.
Because,
and it shows that she was quite involved.
Well, yeah, it definitely shows that she was involved to the extent that there were stories going out that she had been involved in casting and all these things. And I haven't seen that in the text messages, but she was obviously very involved in what was going on set. One of the text messages is from Taylor Swift. This is also just such Taylor Swift, like we know so much about her, but since she became so otherworldly famous, we have so little insight into how she actually like speaks when she's not on stage and in interviews, how she behaves, how she communicates with her friends.
I feel like reading someone's text is basically seeing them naked.
It's like seeing someone naked, and to your best friend. Yeah. Like we don't know where Taylor Swift and Blake Lively stand now. We do know they haven't been seen in public together for a very, very long time. They don't engage on social together like they used to. So something has happened.
It's changed. And also like reading these messages initially, which we had to do because it's our job, but like I did feel so icky reading the text between Blake and Taylor, more on Blake's side, because those first initial texts to Taylor is her basically saying that she's so paranoid of her text getting leaked. Yep. And then these texts got leaked.
Oh, I know. And the thing is, if you're this level of famous and you're involved in something as high stakes as this, I would be. I mean, again, sometimes you just have to send the text, but I would be worried that they would be leaked, and now they have been leaked, even though it's through a legal standard. So one of the first text messages that comes through is from Taylor Swift to Blake Lively. And in this message, Taylor Swift has taken a screenshot of a People magazine story. Huge day for them. Taylor Swift reads them, or it's just the first thing that came up when she Googled, which is about Justin Baldoni and the New York Times expose and all of the different feud things. And across that screenshot, Taylor Swift wrote, "I think this bitch knows something is coming because he's got out his tiny violin."
Yeah.
I mean, everything we know about Taylor Swift's lyrics and stuff like this, I do 100% believe this is how she talks.
I know. And people are now comparing like all her texts to like actual lyrics she's written in songs.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the thing is, like, that's exactly what I'd say to a friend. Like, this bitch has got down his tiny violin. Yeah. Now he's like, poor me, poor me,
my
poor
God,
me.
You should see some of the screenshots I send my friends.
Yeah, exactly.
This is
Someone
nothing.
subpoena Emily if you want a good time.
And Please don't.
And then Blake replies, "It rings different when he doesn't end the story by saying, 'Did I always listen when they said no?' No, like he did with me. But that must not have tested well in the focus group." And then she said he's also being honoured at the Vital Voices for Women event on Monday. And then Taylor Swift messaged back, "That is so disgusting, and I hate the idea that he's so clever with this shit." To which Blake Lively replied, "This inspiring event celebrates men who are using their platforms, influence, and leadership to elevate women, combat gender-based violence, and promote gender equality." So talking of this event, I do believe after this, like a lot of events that Justin Baldoni was involved in like this, because that was his persona of like, I'm here for women, I stand for equity, all these things that like some events for him were cancelled. Like he was taken off like different podcasts he was supposed to promote. Like there was like a big kind of reaction to this at the time. And then they go into talk, and then also Taylor Swift and Blake Lively went back and forth, like talking about his publicist and the team and the comms person at the studio.
Who do they refer? Because like they say,
Jennifer Abel is the woman they refer to.
Oh,
that's his publicist.
When they were like her,
also,
yeah, okay,
yeah, who's also been brought into a lot of the legal documents. I believe she parted ways with Justin after this, and also like she's been subpoenaed, so she's like very much in it. And then Taylor Swift comes back after that saying he needs to be beaten by his own words. So like she's like really in.
She's such a lyricist.
Yeah, just a moment for her text messages. Someone put those into a book and release them. So in another message then, Blake Lively writes to Taylor Swift, "Can you imagine feeling as confident as these predators that you're going to always get away with it? Him accepting an award as an ally for women." And then Taylor Swift comes back and said, "It's like a horror film no one knows is taking place."
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, I know this might sound like it's like we're kind of like jumping into their personal life when it's not relevant, but it is relevant because this will be helping Blake Lively's team build a case that she was feeling harassed in that, because there's evidence of, which is always the hardest thing to prove in these things, which is like there's evidence of her reporting it to other people, and like does the timeline of these text messages and her complaints match up with the legal documents and match up with the HR complaint that she put in at the time. So like it is relevant in that way. And then in another text message, Blake Lively texts to Taylor Swift. And in this, it's alleged that Taylor Swift was already on her way to visit Blake and Ryan's house while Justin Baldoni was there.
Yeah.
And that she was on her way there. So the court documents say she was on her way there to endorse a revised version of the script that Blake was proposing. And also Blake is saying that you don't need to read it first if you don't have time.
Yeah, which is really interesting.
Yeah. So in Blake Lively's deposition, which, just keeping in mind this is a legal document and there's huge ramifications if anyone tells a lie, just so everyone knows the difference between a text message to a friend and a legal deposition. In Blake Lively's legal deposition, she said, "I sent Taylor the script on her way to my apartment because Justin was still there and I asked her to read them. I told her she didn't have to. I didn't want her to feel pressured to do that, but I hoped that she would."
So she was basically asking Taylor to endorse her script regardless of what the actual script was.
Yeah, exactly. Just being like, you're on your way now. Again, paraphrasing what's happened through all these text messages, Blake Lively is basically like, Justin Baldoni is here. I'm telling him we're using this script. You're coming over now. If you have time to read the script in the car on the way here, please do. Otherwise,
which
can you just
I couldn't
endorse
because I get car sick.
Okay, well, I won't ask. If I ever need you to read an emergency
Send
script
it to me
on the
when
way
I'm
to
at
send
home.
down, I'll keep that in mind. But Taylor Swift's a better friend than you, because she replied in her text message to Blake Lively, "I'll do anything for you," 2 exclamation marks.
Oh.
Then
I didn't read that as in like she like would read the script. I read that as in like she would just stand up for her regardless.
Yeah, and I do think, because the thing is, we still don't know yet, because Taylor Swift hasn't been deposed yet, is that we don't know if she actually read the script or not. We only know.
Will she be?
Potentially, yes. And the thing is, apparently her team has...
This could be my Eras tour that I missed out on.
Apparently Taylor Swift's legal team have they're trying not for her to get deposed, obviously, but saying that if she can, then she can do these dates is the latest update that we have.
The question that I have is that because it's a sexual harassment suit, what do any of these texts, why would these texts be made public between Blake and... Because Blake has talked about him?
Yeah, well, this particular case it's not sealed. It's on the public record. It's like a divorce case going through.
Right.
Just because it's a sexual harassment case doesn't mean it's a harassment workplace case. If it's going through the US legal system, and in that states have different rules, but in this state, it's on the public record now. Also, Justin Baldoni has been releasing everything on that website he made about Blake Lively. Although a lot of this isn't great for him. So I'm not sure if he's going to stay with that tact. But once it goes into it's like how we know about celebrity divorce settlements and who gets what and what they say and all that sort of stuff, is once it goes into the legal system in these cases, it can be on the public record.
Yeah.
So then after the whole event, so the whole thing, which we know Justin Baldoni talked to his group, because those text messages were revealed afterwards, where he said he went in and felt completely ambushed by Blake and Ryan. He talks about Taylor Swift being there. He talked about just being yelled at and spoken to in a terrible way by Ryan in particular, and he didn't know how to handle it. He just shut down. So that was his retelling of the events. In these messages, Blake Lively texted Taylor Swift after this event and said, "You were so epically heroic today," and that she had recapped every moment again and again to Reynolds.
Which makes me go,
so
he wasn't in the room.
But he was there for the night, so maybe he went out of the room at that stage, or maybe she just mean I kept talking about it. Because then she goes on to say in this text message, "I kept remembering stuff. You making up shit about me and lenses." Camera lenses. So what it's saying from these text messages.
You're so much smarter than me. I was
that
she wears contacts. Specsavers?
You're smart too, friend. No. They just
How did I
filming.
Why don't I understand anything they're saying in these text messages?
Yeah. Can I please be present?
I'm just having a good time.
If you ever get deposed, can I please be present? I think you need a parent. And it's me. If everyone can't be there, it's going to be me.
Yeah, it has to be you.
I'll be like, no, don't. She doesn't understand the question. Ask her a different way. You incriminate yourself just by being confused.
Lenses. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Camera lenses.
Oh, well, I didn't think that was going to be the big drop mic moment here, but here we go. So this is Blake Lively texting Taylor Swift. I'm just trying to keep it all quick, all clear, because I know we're giving people a lot of information.
So these are the texts that happened after Taylor left. I'm assuming Justin's left, and now they're just like...
This is the debrief text later on. So Blake said, I kept remembering stuff. You making shit up about me and lenses. You referring to yourself as my doll. This clown falling for all of it, but also resisting it. You are the world's greatest friend ever.
Damn.
So
Taylor Swift looks great in all of this.
Yeah, she's coming off great, isn't she? It's hard because, well, she's coming off great except for the context of like these text messages are alluding to the fact that that they basically lied. They lied
to get her script over the line.
They got Justin Baldoni in a room and then lied to him.
And now they're laughing about it. They're just girls.
That is girlhood. Get that man in a room, spin some lies about camera lenses and call it a day. Okay, it's not funny.
It's not funny. It's actually really not funny.
I mean, the thing is, some of these parts are just about a power struggle between a very famous A-list actress with a very famous network of friends and a lot of money, and between also famous but less resourced man but who also has all this privilege and fame and everything. So that part of it is funny and interesting to me. And I hold that separately in my head from the sexual harassment, on-set harassment, body image, body shaming, inappropriate behavior.
Yeah.
Because even though they're all intertwined, they are kind of like two separate complaints. So
Which is so wild that it's happening at kind of the same time, because reading the depositions from Jenny Slate and Isabella, like that in my head is like so bad.
Yeah.
Like it almost makes me sick, like reading some of the stuff that they were saying that he was doing. And then having this side with the celebrities and like them endorsing. It's annoying that they're like having to, because I feel like it dilutes the victim statements.
It's like everyone's really hinging, which I understand. Everyone's hinging on like the spiciness of having these celeb text messages and email, like this world we would never normally get to see, having this made public and getting this insight. And again, that's such a juicy kind of almost fun story for us to wade into if it was just about a bunch of rich celebs fighting over a movie script. And I understand why that's what's picked up traction. That's why everyone wants like a hero and a villain, and why it's kind of easier to villainize Blake Lively in that way, because it does look like the power is on her side, and there's text messages where she's laughing about like tricking him essentially and all these things. But the more serious side, the actual legal complaint, is about harassment on set, an unsafe work environment, sexual harassment, all of these things. And that's obviously like very, very, very serious.
Yeah.
But obviously that's not what's making headlines. But then we get something else from the Taylor Swift and Blake Lively text messages, which is, I do feel for them, because this is such a personal message. And the thought of like having one of your personal messages between you and your best friends, whether you're famous or not, leaked is just like...
And a message where like I feel like a lot of women would have sent this message in their life.
Oh, 100%.
And it's one of those messages where you treat it more carefully than a message you would send any partner, any like lover, any like boyfriend or girlfriend. And it's like I've sent one of these messages and I've like written it in my notes app, I've edited it, I've re-edited it, I've looked over it, I've slept on it, and then sending it has been like the most anxiety-inducing experience. And now I'm assuming the exact same thing happened with Blake sending that initial message and Taylor Swift's reply, and the whole world has read it.
Oh, absolutely. So in the lead to this message, we don't know what the messages that led into it exactly were, but we're led to believe that there has been a period of time where Taylor Swift and Blake Lively have not spoken, and things have been...
Or their friendship has changed.
It has been very strange between them, because in this text message to Taylor Swift, Blake Lively writes, "Hey, just checking in. I have no reason to ask, but I don't know. I feel like I should." And it's ... Is everything okay? I feel like a bad friend lately because I've such a sad sack who only talked about my own shit for months. You were generous not only to be the key person there for me during all of it, but also to let me off the hook for being so into it. But I still have a feeling something may not be right. I told Ryan, he said to just ask you. but I felt so stupid, like it sounded needy and awkward for everyone, especially because I can't explain why I have this feeling. And I have toxic this is interesting. And I have toxic masculinity, so I can't be needy. But also, I do want to know everything is good, so I'm just asking. I always want the opportunity to be a better friend if there's something unintentionally that I did. I know how busy and taxed you are, physically, emotionally, practically, so I don't expect any more from you ever, just to make sure all is good. That's hard, isn't it? So obviously she's sensing something.
I feel dirty knowing this.
I know, but also then Taylor Swift's reply we have, so I'll just read that out. Again, I'm giving a lot of grace to both of these women. I'm giving a lot of grace to them because they've both been through these huge public, because Taylor Swift had her whole public breakup and everything like that. And also she's on the Eras tour now from the timing of these messages.
I think during the timing of these messages, she was getting ready for literally her Vancouver set, which was the last ever leg of her whole tour.
Yeah. And obviously she's with Travis now, so that's all wonderful and stuff. But she's been through a huge thing. I mean, some of her, not just the Eras tour, but having 2 breakups while she was on it and that being such public fodder. And also, the terrorist attack on her concerts and all these things, as well as being the most famous one in the world. And then Blake's been publicly cancelled. She's had the worst few years of her life. So, and now they're in this difficult friendship situation. So I give both these women a lot of grace reading this. But then Taylor Swift came back with a text message to Blake Lively and she said, "No, you're not wrong, but it's also not a big deal. I think I'm just exhausted in every avenue of my life. And in recent months, I have been feeling a little bit of a shift in the way you talk to me. Yes, there has been a lot of the Justin stuff, but I've just been through things like this before and I know how all-consuming it is." So she obviously has been through similar things. I mean, there's not just the DJ that she had sued, but obviously she's, for touching her inappropriately and that a big story, but also the Scooter Braun stuff and other things. So, and also the Kim and Kanye, if they're talking about public cancellation. So when Taylor Swift says, "I've been through this before, I know how all-consuming it is," that's true. And then she goes on to say, "But it's more like, and I really feel bad saying anything about this because your texts have been so nice in their intent, but your last few text messages, it's felt like I was reading a mass corporate email sent to 200 employees. You said the word 'we' 18 times, and it feels awful to be in any way critical of any of the processes of what you've been going through, but I just kind of miss my funny, dark, normal speaking friend who talks to me as herself, not like that, a plural unit. When it's a group I'm hearing from, I feel distanced from you even more than we are geographically. And I know you feel attacked from all sides for ridiculous reasons, so you're feeling like you have to overly explain or be nice or whatever. But it's me! Exclamation mark. That's just caused a little distance, and you don't need to apologize. Just come back, please."
Aww.
So I think a lot of people are really this is the sign that they're not friends. This is the sign their friendship is broken down. And I think we wouldn't get that information unless we had the other text messages or conversations that follow this. But it is interesting that Taylor Swift, who was all in on this whole situation with the filmmaking, Justin Baldoni and the scripts and we'll lie about this and we'll do that, is now saying to her friend she's just shutting down because she's feeling she's too involved in the corporation that is the Blake Lively machine at the moment and can't take part in it anymore.
Yeah, which is kind of a fair statement.
Yeah.
But it's just those kind of text messages between friends are so interesting because you think airing everything out and even Blake Lively's reply was kind of tongue in cheek, saying, "Hey, from the Blake Lively Corporation." But you don't know, you actually don't know. Some of those text messages, sometimes you need to air everything out, and it doesn't necessarily mean everything will go back to the way it was.
Yeah.
Because how could it? This case is still going on. I don't think it could ever go back to the way it was until this whole thing has blown over.
Yeah.
And even then, we won't know the results from it and how damaging that can be mentally and physically to Blake Lively.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do see in a way people are kind of framing this as the Taylor Swift message to Blake Lively that ended their friendship. I don't know if it's quite anything like that. We obviously don't know Blake's reaction if she came back and was like, "I can't believe you said that to me." Going through all this, we don't have those texts or information.
Yeah.
Neither of them have commented on anything like that. Maybe when Taylor Swift is deposed, more information will come out, or next time Blake Lively speaks. But it's fair to say that this has been a catalyst that has changed their friendship.
Yeah.
Because their friendship was so public facing, and then it's changed, and now we have a message explaining it all. So that's just one of the very first rounds of the depositions and the legal letters and everything that has come come from this court case. There's a lot more to come yet. We're not even at like the full trial stage yet. So there's a lot more to come. But yeah, it's kind of, I guess it's kind of changed how we see the conversation to an extent. So we'll bring you the next time there's an email leak or a deposition. I'll bring you that information.
I want more Lucy Damon, please.
Yeah, let's see what Lucy has to say. I'm interested.